So, talking about the co op program, what kind of support and resources are available for students who avail the co op program within the university?
Sure. So we have career support for our students. So apart from the compulsory subject that the students need to do in the first year, we also have additional career workshops for them. We help them with their LinkedIn profile. It's good to start early. We also run workshops to prepare them with expectations in the workplace, and we also recognize that the workplace could be quite different for different academic disciplines. A hospital is quite different to a IT company and an engineering company, for example. So we do tailor some of the support services depending on the academic discipline of the students.
Hi, guys, welcome back to AECC Thoughtcast, where we bring in some valuable insights and expert advice to help you ace your study abroad journey. I am Veronica, and today we are thrilled to be joined by Caroline Chong, who's the Deputy Vice Chancellor for Global and Engagement at Federation University. Welcome to the show, Caroline.
Thank you so much for having me.
How's it going?
It's going really well. So I've been in India for a few weeks now, and being able to see a few different areas in India. But it's wonderful to be here at AECC today.
Oh, nice. So, Federation University, as we all know, is situated in Australia, which is the key destination for students to choose as a study abroad destination. So, what, according to you, is the differentiating factor for students to choose Australia over other destinations?
I think Australia has a lot to offer. For a very long time, we've welcomed many international students. It's a very multicultural place. All of our universities are of high quality. We have world-class programs, world-class academics. It's a really safe environment. And Australia is just a beautiful place.
Yeah, I'm sure. Oh, I love the beaches, by the way.
Yes.
So, talking about Australia as a destination, what, according to you, are the advantages that students can reap from choosing Australia as a destination?
I guess for students choosing to Australia, because yes, we know that students have a lot of choice of where to go. I think the fact that we have been welcoming international students for such a long time, in a way, we know what international students are looking for. They have come a long way to study in Australia, but we have, for example, a lot of multicultural groups and societies within the community. There's a lot of clubs and societies on campus as well. There's a lot of student support services that we provide to students at Federation, and I know at many other universities, we also help, for example, picking up students from the airport. So from day one, students, I think, feel welcome and supported with their studies.
So, when you talk about the university, the extracurricular activities altogether, so this is primarily for the extroverts. What about the introverts? How do
That's a good
they
one.
gel well?
Yes. Oh, yes, you're right, because I think we have a choice for everybody. Like some people like sports,
Yeah.
so they might come across. We have cricket clubs, football, a whole range. The introverts, well, again, we have arts, and entertainment. We have concerts that students can go to if they like to do it by themselves.
Okay.
But we also have, I guess, programs to introduce students to each other. So
Nice.
even the introverts might be able to find a friend to go shopping together, to have a meal together.
Oh, nice.
And as I mentioned, because it's a multicultural place, we have food from all around the world.
So,
and-
does that mean we get all the Indian food?
You have a lot of Indian food, and India is a large country with
Oh,
many
yes.
different cuisines. And I think over the years, because we have quite a high number of population of Indian diaspora now, so you have cuisine from Delhi, from Kerala, from the Punjab, pretty much everything that we offer now.
Okay.
Can be
Anything
found.
that you've tried yourself?
I tried myself. I actually love Hyderabad biryani.
Oh, so I think
And-
your spice tolerance is pretty
Yes,
high.
my tolerance is not too bad.
Yeah.
There's actually a little shop in Ballarat where our campus is headquarters in Victoria, who does a really, really nice chicken biryani. So that's probably
nice.
one of my favorites.
Oh, great. So, talking about the Federation University, how do you think Federation University is different from all the other universities in Australia?
Sure. So I guess with Federation University, we've been connected to industry from day one. So our history dates back to 1870, so a very long time, 155 years. We're Australia's third oldest tertiary education institution. gold was discovered in Ballarat
Oh.
all those years ago. So many people came from all around the world to find their fortune.
Okay.
But because so many people came, people needed to be trained. So the School of Mines Ballarat, which was our very first institution in 1870, was set up to train people working in the mines. So where we're different, I guess, is that connectedness to industry from day one. We feel is part of our DNA.
Okay.
And so we feel that we have been able to prepare students well when they go into the workforce. And that has continued for us over the last 155 years.
Okay, so I think Federation University is primarily known for its career readiness altogether. So, I mean, you've just started with the co-op program as well. So, how does co-op program overall integrate with the industry readiness? If you could just share, and primarily, firstly, we'll start off with what is co-op program, and then how does it relate to career readiness altogether?
Sure. So, as I mentioned, we have been industry connected for a long time, and for example, we're number one in Victoria and number two in Australia for full-time graduate employment, and that's I guess a statistics that we're very proud of. We have started a journey to, as you mentioned, the co-op program. The whole of university is transforming. We're changing all of our courses into a co-op program. What does that actually mean? It has several components. So all of our courses moving into future, and this gets into a bit of the academic side of things, we have a career preparation unit that all our bachelor degree students have to do in their first year, and that is for academic credit. So we teach students how to put together a resume, what to expect in a workplace, teamwork skills, communication skills, collaboration skills. That's really important. We are changing all of our courses to include more transferable skills. For example, digital literacy, that's become so important now. Everyone, doesn't matter what you study, you need that. But leadership is also very important. Interpersonal skills is important. Having a creativity and a critical thinking as well, and also a sustainable and ethical mindset. I think sustainability nowadays is also something that's really, really important. So all of these we're building into our courses right now as part of the larger co-op program. And a very critical part of that is also compulsory work placement that all students need to complete. For at the bachelor degree level is a minimum of 60 days. And for a lot of our courses, especially in the STEM area, that's actually paid work placement. And for master's level, it's a 30-day work placements that students have to do. So all of this really helps for students to get prepared before they go into the workforce.
Yeah, I'm sure, because if you start from day one itself or the first year itself, it kind of helps you grow throughout your academic journey altogether.
Yes, absolutely.
So, talking about the co-op program, like you said, it's been integrated for all the streams that you've had enrollments for. So, is it like you have employers who've been a part of the co-op program across the industries, or is it any trend that you're focusing on, that there's some kind of shift in trends and you're focusing on co-op programs in those trends only?
Sure. So we have started out with, I guess we're starting out with the co-op program in the STEM areas. So now, science, engineering, IT, but that includes business and management as well. So we're starting there because we're rolling out our co-op program to the end of 2025. So we're in the process right now. But again, back to our roots with industry, I'll give you a good example. So we have had a 27-year partnership with IBM. IBM is located in our tech park in our Ballarat, our main campus in Ballarat. And for 20 years now, we've been placing students with them. And students are taking these work placements and internships. And so that's a key partner for us. And we've taken those learnings and we're now doing this with other employers. Ernst & Young has just moved into our tech park as well. So we see more opportunities for business students. But because we're a comprehensive university that we teach across many academic disciplines, so nursing, for example, is another strong area for us. We work with all the hospitals in the regions where we're located. So so multiple industries that we have in the engineering space. We work with logistic companies, construction companies, renewable energy companies.
Yeah.
Again, that's a
That's
big
a
area
future
of
as-
growth, I think, for Australia and also India and other places. So we have an engagement team that is going out and speaking with employers to design work placements for our students.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we're different, because Australia has had a good history of providing internships and placements in general
Yeah.
for students across many academic programs. Where Federation is different is we are going out to find those placements for the students.
Yeah.
And we know it's hard for
Yeah.
students to find it, right?
Yeah.
Because they don't have the work networks,
Yeah.
and even harder for international students
Yeah.
because they're new to the country.
Yeah.
You don't know people. So they need help. So what we're doing is actually finding the placements for those students.
Yeah, I think everyone that we speak to talks about networking, but altogether, I mean, it's a gray area. Where do you network? How do you network? And what strategies to implement? If it's guided, it's much more, I mean, in a structured way, you kind of fetch a good job as well. So I think co-op in that way is going to be really helpful. And since it's been in the university campus itself, so it kind of brings a lot of reassurance to the parents also and the students as well, because they feel safe.
Yes.
So talking about the co-op program, what kind of support and resources are available for students who avail the co-op program within the university?
Sure. So we have career support for our students.
Okay.
So apart from the compulsory subject that the students need to do in the first year, we also have additional career workshops for them. We help them with their LinkedIn profile. It's good to start early.
Oh, yes.
And start building those networks early. We also run workshops to prepare them with expectations in the workplace, you know, and we also recognize that the workplace could be quite different for different academic disciplines.
Yeah.
You know, a hospital is quite different to a IT company and an engineering company, for example. So we do tailor some of the support services depending on the academic discipline of the students. But an important part is also preparing the employers, you know, because the employers are taking our students. We need to prepare them to take the students as well. So we've also built training modules for them. Okay. So they know what to expect when they host our students from the time before they start to during the time they are with the companies, and also when they finish. So with the work placements, especially in the STEM areas, the placements are actually for academic credit.
Okay.
So it's not on top of everything else that they're doing. It's part of the actual course.
Okay.
So that the students are not extending their studies. So a 3-year program, a 3-year Bachelor of IT, for example, will still be a 3-year Bachelor of IT. They do equivalent of 1 semester of this work. Okay. And it is for academic credit. So students have to do assessment as part of their work. But the employers also help us very much like in the workplace where you have performance meetings, your performance indicators. Exactly, that's what we're doing with the employers as well. So we can help students understand what it means to be at work. So employers are also telling us that they're finding when the students are with them, they feel that the students are more prepared as well to understand what it's like.
I think if I go back to my experience, I am a BTech computer science myself, but I left my techie job within 1 year because I didn't know what techie world feels like from the outside. Yeah. So then I moved to advertising and marketing. Had I had the experience, I think it was much more well-informed decision overall for me as well. Right. So I think, overall it might just help the students. Also, when you talk about the co-op program, overall the experience with the employers, is there any live projects that these students are working on, or is it a blend of the academic course along with the employer touch as to how the workplace feels, or are they really working on any live project overall from the, let's say IBM or EY for that matter? Are they working on any live projects with these employers?
Yeah, so when the students are, I'll just stick to that example with IBM and EY, they are actually going into an actual job.
Oh, nice.
So it's really working. So it's not, sometimes it is project work. And because, you know, a lot of work nowadays, anywhere you go, it is project work. Yeah. And you often also work in a team. So you're not just working in isolation. So they might be working in a team of 3, 4, 5 people. But it's actual work, and it's not, I guess, you know, a project that's just put together. So as far as possible, many of these work placements are actual work that the company needs to get done.
Okay.
We also have a model where for some students, it might suit them a little bit better, where we have a student, we call it a student consultancy. So in a way, again, we have students that's hosted by the university. Employers will come to us with a project and saying, I'm wanting, for example, a website built. We then put together groups of students to work on that actual project. It's still a live project, so they may not be in the actual workplace, but they act like a consultant to that workplace, but they're still working on a live project. So we feel this is a really good way for them to have a much better understanding of what real work life is. Yes.
I think it also breaks the norm of you being in the industry and then acing it to the consultancy, but you just start off from day one itself. So it's a much more aware situation for the students as well.
Yes.
So would it be fine to say if like a co-op program is the next future, or every university needs to look out for co-op program overall, or because it kind of brings in the real world scenario to the academic. So how would you like to place the program overall in the future trends?
Sure. That's a really good question. And I think it's probably for every university to answer, because I think everyone's mission and values are quite different. I think there will always be universities that will want to focus more on research, for example, and they should do that. I guess, but I do feel, I think in terms of a global workforce, there is a trend more and more in terms of preparing people for work, to build the workforce for the globe. I guess I can put it that way. And when we're speaking with our employer partners, what they are telling us is that they're finding it more and more difficult to acquire talent, to find the right employees. So by building a co-op program like this, I guess we're seeing it as it's a partnership between the university, the company, and the student. It's helping everybody. For employers, and this is a feedback they give us as well. They're saying that so the students they're getting are more prepared for work. Going back to the IBM example, what we found is 70% of students who completed their work placement were employed by IBM when they graduated. 7 years later, 70% of those people are still employed by IBM.
Oh, that's a great number.
And we would love to be able to replicate that across all the other employers that we work with. And the employers are telling us that this is one way of them, in a way, testing the student. You have the students for 60 days. The students can do more if they like to, but 60 days is the minimum for bachelor degree. And it's a good way because it helps them save time, save money, because recruitment is an expensive exercise. By being able to test the students out, they can provide students with a job before they graduate as well. And so it helps everybody. So I do think there will probably be more universities that would go down this model. We're the first in Australia that's rolling this out across all of our courses. So we talk about the co-op program, but it's the program of work, and it's really across all of our courses that we're rolling out.
So I think overall, every student is primarily concerned about the job. Where do they get placed? Is it only networking that's going to help them, or is it the university offerings that are also being provided by each university, so that they are reassured to the fact that they'll be able to find jobs and also secure the visa? So I think co-op program overall, I think would really help in gauging that for the students, and also it becomes reassuring for the parents as well to invest their monies into a career like that, and the university wherein they provide a full stack opportunity for the students. So talking about the industries and the companies that are partnering with Federation University, while we talked about IBM and EY for the STEM courses, what are the kind of trends that you're looking out in 2023, 2024 and the future, where students are opting for different courses, and how is the university shaping up in their preparedness?
Sure. So because we're a comprehensive university, we still see a large trend in the IT area in all sorts of different ways, and of course it's really interesting nowadays with AI coming on board and machine learning, and things are changing so quickly and so rapidly. But because we're rolling out co-op program across all of our academic disciplines. Right now, in our nursing degree programs, in our education, social work, public health, we already have placements for the students right now. What we are doing with the co-op program is building in more career preparation into those courses. So we feel health is another area that will continue to grow as a trend.
Yeah.
And hence we definitely see more people looking at health sciences, nursing, physiotherapy, speech pathology, and that seems to be a growing trend too, because there's such a worldwide shortage of that.
Yeah.
So we're definitely seeing, and social work. And I think also since since the pandemic too, there's a lot more interest too in things like psychology, and mental health, professions too. So those are the trends we're seeing.
Okay.
And so with our engagement team that's going out to speak to employers, yes, it's not just IBM and EY and engineering companies. They're continuing to build those connections and networks across many other companies. And because of where we're located and we have multiple campuses across the state of Victoria in Australia, we work also not just with big companies, but with small and medium-sized companies too.
Okay.
And we feel for every student, not everyone suits a big company.
Yeah.
Some people like a smaller company. You actually would learn a lot more because you're covering a lot more ground in a smaller company. So when we're supporting the students to look for their placements, that's something that our placement officers look at as well. How we might be able to fit and adjust students according to the company. So our engagement team is really going out to speak to a whole range of companies right now.
Is there anything for the Gen Zs for the startup world as well? Because I think there's a shift in the mindset now. Gen Zs are preferring the startup over the big companies overall. So is there any associations with the startups, or do you guys also help the mindset to grow in a way wherein they could also start their own startups?
No, that's a great question, and that's something we feel that more students would be interested in as well. And I guess with that, one of the things that we did was to start the student consultancy, because we can see some students might prefer that route to get a bit of experience that's a bit different to the actual workplace. We also have we have a new role in the university, a Pro Vice Chancellor of Innovation. He's currently looking at building some, I guess, more entrepreneurship and innovation type programs for students who are more interested in that startup space, for us to be able to prepare them for that too, because we think that there'll be lots of brilliant young minds who are wanting to go down that track rather than in the job track.
I think as far as my knowledge is concerned, I think Australia is primarily known for STEM courses, but if in case there's a shift to the other genres as well, I think it'll be a great shift for Australia, or people like me who only think that Australia is known for the STEM courses.
Yeah. No, there's plenty. I think there's something for everyone. But I do know, I guess, for Australia at the moment, a lot of emphasis in workforce development, which is probably why STEM and health is still very high on the agenda.
Courses.
And yes.
Okay. So finally, while the program is pretty promising in nature, how do you think the students can apply for these courses? And are there any scholarships that are available for these students to be opting for such programs?
Sure. So because we're rolling out the co-op program throughout the university, we're actually transforming the co-op courses. So in a way, it's the same selection criteria. So for example, a Bachelor of IT, the criteria remains very much the same. It's the content that we are changing. So when the student's applying for one, they're just applying for a co-op course anyway. There's no sort of additional process for that. But in the scholarship space, yes, we do have a new scholarship program that we're rolling out. So at the moment, we have a bursary program where students who accept the offer by the end of November. They have a $3,000 credit towards their second year fees. So that's one program. We have the Academic Excellence Scholarships, where for the top 25% of high achievers, we're giving a 20% tuition fee scholarship for the first year. And that scholarship will continue if the student maintains a credit average. So, if they do well throughout the entire course, they will continue that 20% scholarship. We also have accommodation on campus. So we have an accommodation subsidy scholarship where students who stay on campus for the first year, they have $2,000 as a subsidy towards accommodation. But the one that we're really proud of is because of the co-op program and the co-op courses and the compulsory work placement. So students, we'll just go back to STEM and management again, will be paid for their work placement. So when they go out to work in the company would actually pay them. And if they're doing the work placement in Australia, that's a minimum of $10,000 that they will get in terms of a salary, right? And at the master's level, because it's 30 days, they get $5,000 as minimum as their salary. For courses like nursing and education and social work, there are some government regulations where the hospitals, for example, are not able to pay the students. So in place of that, we're providing placement support of the same amount. So, for example, a student coming to do a Bachelor of Nursing for 3 years, we would give them up to the $10,000 as part of their placement support. They can use it as transportation to the hospitals where they'll do their placements. They can use it to support their equipment that they might need to buy, or anything that they need as well, so that we do have equity of students, no matter what they're studying. They will get either paid by the employer or they get a placement support from the university to be able to take that up. So that's a new program we've now introduced because we're rolling out a co-op program, and we feel this will really help our international students in particular.
Okay, so for the entry level, are there any new scholarships that are being introduced in 2025, or it remains the same, or what are the scholarships for the entry level primarily?
Yeah, so for the entry level, we have the Academic Excellence Scholarship is one that we have had in the past, but I guess the criteria is a little bit different now. But so it's the top 25% of students who apply will have that 20%.
And how do you define top 25?
Yeah, so
we just wanted a cheat code for the same.
Yes. No, so we're trying out something a bit new, and we know it's going to be adjusted as we go. But we're probably still looking at students achieving roughly around the 75% grade. But again, every qualification is different, whether you do IB or you do a CBSE, each qualification is quite different. But all those details we're sharing with our recruitment staff, with our education agents like AECC that we work with, so that it's easier for the admissions staff to be able to counsel the students.
Now that we have an insider, we just wanted if you could share some insights on how do students craft their LOIs or the SOPs wherein they could fetch good scholarship altogether.
Sure, I think a really key one is to be able to explain why they have chosen the course they like to study, and how that's going to help with their future careers. And I think for us having the co-op program, it's going to be much easier for students to be able to explain, that they'll be able to come to us, study, complete their course, and have a better career outcome and a better salary outcome. So we feel that the students moving forward with their SOPs would be able to explain that much better. And to have the opportunity to do that work placement as well during their studies would help with their future careers. So we do hope that the students will be able to pick up those pointers to be able to explain a lot more clearly their intention of why they're wanting to study in Australia.
Also, like you said, I mean, you just mentioned salaries, and a question popped in my mind. So, when you talk about salaries, what are the kind of differentiators that you've seen that students who've taken the normal courses versus students who've taken the co-op program, are they able to fetch more salaries, or how's it helped the students who've currently been enrolled for these programs?
Sure. So I guess because we're currently still rolling out our co-op program, but based on our other history,
Yeah.
for example, with the IBM
Hmm.
program, for example, we have found that the students graduated and they were able to have a higher starting salary.
Okay.
So as I mentioned before, so we're number one in Victoria and number two in Australia for full-time graduate employment.
Okay.
We're also number one in Victoria for the highest starting salary
Okay.
for undergraduate students, simply because I think we've put in all of these work readiness type programs
Yeah.
for the students. One of the things that our employers have told us is that sometimes students start with them, but they have to take time to retrain
Yeah.
again. So it takes more time for the students
Yeah.
or graduates, more time for the employers.
Hmm.
Whereas we expect that, with our co-op program and moving very much, especially in the next couple of years, as we get it more and more embedded into our courses, that the students can attract the higher salary because they'll be ready to start from day one.
Yeah.
And we're not, the employers don't actually have to spend the time to retrain them as well. So we also expect that students would be able to stay in their jobs longer, or if they like to get as much as they can out of 1 or 2 years and be able to move a lot more quickly into other companies that they might choose as well.
Fair enough. Pretty insightful. I think one way to go about securing a job is co-op then.
Thank you.
So Australia, as we all know, we can work for like 48 hours fortnight. How does co-op program additionally support in this?
So with our co-op courses, with the work placement, it's registered as part of the course. So it doesn't affect the 48 hours per fortnight.
Oh.
So the students can continue with their part-time job if they like to, but they can also do their work placement. So it doesn't affect that at all. So they can actually do both, or the work placements can replace the part-time work that they might like to do.
Okay. So that was a pretty insightful session, Caroline. Thank you for sharing all the insights for our students who are planning to move to Australia. Are there any other tips and tricks that you would want to share for the potential students who are planning to move in the future itself?
Sure. I think the first thing is be brave. I think it's a new adventure.
Yeah.
Obviously, wanting to study more for their future careers. I think Australia is a very welcoming place. For myself, I'm a migrant to Australia as well. I grew up in Singapore and I moved to Australia to study.
So you are a student yourself?
I was a student myself, yes. So sort of speak from experience, and I think many people working in Australian universities have the similar background. So I would say that we are very welcoming. We love to support our students that come to us. It is, I guess, a big step for many students, but I would say that not to worry. There is something for everyone. And at the end of the day, I think the universities are there to support as much as possible. So really looking forward to welcoming lots of people and lots of students. And I love seeing graduation ceremonies in particular, and see all the happy faces of students and their parents and their family being so proud, when the students finish. So I always keep that in sight and in my mind. And why we're doing this, because I think end of the day, we're making a strong impact for people's future, and that's why we're all here today and really promoting education. But I guess Australia is a welcoming place. I think I'll end with that.
So now that I know that you're a student, you're a migrant yourself, so is there any other destination that you would want to swap Australia with if you were to go back in time?
No, I think Australia will still be my choice. I love food, if I put it that way. And I guess I go back to the multiculturalism that we have in Australia, and you can literally find something for everyone. But it's a really safe place and a really welcoming place. And I think, for that reason, myself and so many others have chosen to stay on. in Australia. I do know, obviously, a lot of people who go back home
Hmm.
or go to many other countries around the world. You know, don't. I guess another tip is not to restrict yourself. You know, you could be coming from India, from Vietnam, from Sri Lanka, anywhere to come to study in Australia. You could stay for a little bit. There's post-study work rights. You could return home, or you could go anywhere else in the world. I think Australian education takes you to many different places, and so you know it doesn't matter. In a way, you know, whether you, I think, yeah, going back to Australia has something for everyone, and with a qualification from Australia, it can take you to many different places. But Australia's always been a wonderful place in my heart, and that's why I stayed.
Oh, nice. Thank you so much for all the insights, Caroline. It was great hanging out with you today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's my first AECC Thoughtcast.
Oh,
And I hope I'll be able to come back and do it
yes.
again.
We look forward to more such insights
Yeah.
from you every year.
Thank you.
And for our viewers, thank you for tuning in. In case you have any queries related to Australia or Federation University, you could reach out to the nearest AECC branch, or you could leave the comment down below wherein we could address your queries. Until then, please subscribe to our channel for more such insightful videos. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. And in case you like the video, please don't forget to like and share it with your friends. Until next time.